Hey, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Mr. Meyer. Looks like the way we're going to be doing things for the next couple of days while I'm out. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it'll work. I think it'll be good enough, all right, for our purposes. What I want to spend the next couple of days kind of taking you guys through is some of the basic terminology that we're going to be using throughout the semester. And like I said yesterday or the day before yesterday, sort of throughout the rest of your lives in many cases. A lot of these terms, if you're going to be like, a literate person, somebody who like pays attention to the news and pays attention to current events, you're going to run across these concepts and these terms from now till you die. And so I think it makes sense to spend a little bit of time with them. So I'm going to talk very fast, just to save a little bit of time and a little bit of bandwidth here. And that being the case, pause me wherever you need to. I've highlighted all the major terms in the PowerPoint, and so, like I say, stop me when you need to. Start me up when you've caught up, and then we'll make the best of this. And then hopefully in the next few days, I can get back into the room with you guys, and we can do this the right way. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. I want to start off with some of the major, basically the two halves of the course. All right, I'm dropping down to the bottom of the slide here, where we're taking a look at some of the key terminology here. Half of the course is about government, and so I think it makes sense to define the term government. And this is not the single definition of the term, but it's certainly a useful one. Government can be thought of, you guys, as the legitimate use of force, comma, within specified boundaries, comma, to control human behavior. The use of force within specified boundaries to control human behavior. Now, if we were in the room together, we would be having this big conversation about what constitutes a legitimate use of force, like who decides what is and is not legitimate. And so, I'm going to sort of short circuit that conversation and just sort of jump to the punchline, which is it really depends on which country you're in. If you were in a country like the United States or France or South Africa or Mexico or any other, functional democracy, it's usually going to be the people, either directly or indirectly. They're going to decide what is and is not a legitimate use of force. And one of the ways we do this is through voting. If you were to live in, let's say, North Korea, right? It's probably Kim Jong-un who decides what is and is not a legitimate use of force, and not the people in that particular situation. So again, it very much depends on which country you happen to be in. You could plug that definition, though, into pretty much any country during any time period, and I think it would make sense. Let's see here. So the legitimate use of force within specified boundaries to control human behavior. Okay, so controlling human behavior, that sounds like something that, Mr. G would be going over with you guys in psych, or Mr. Hurst. And, to control human behavior sounds very sort of Pavlovian, sounds very much like, I press the button and you give me a cookie kind of a thing, But, if you think about it, you hop in your car after school today and you drive home and let's say you're heading down Foothill, and out of the corner of your eye, you catch the speed limit sign. It reads 45, and you look down at the speedometer and you happen to be doing like 52 or 53. So you let your foot off the brake or off the gas a little bit. The car slows down. Why are you doing that? Okay, why are you doing that? Well, for different reasons. The numbers on the sign are just that, just numbers. Okay, but there is an implied threat there. Okay, there's an implied threat. For most of us, okay, for a lot of people, myself included, I'm a middle-aged white guy living in Southern California. What I'm afraid of, the pain that I'm afraid of, is not physical pain. Okay, for me, it's going to be financial pain. Right, the threat of the police pulling me over, giving me a ticket, and then I got to explain to my wife, why I have to go to traffic school and we got to pay all that additional money. Okay, for me, it's going to be financial pain. If I was a person of color living in certain parts of the country, I may be fearing for a different kind of pain altogether. For me, there may be like a genuine threat to my safety. And, I know for some people that they may not necessarily be comfortable having that conversation, but, I believe in dealing in reality. All right. And, for some people in some parts of the country, even in 2022, if the last 3 years have taught us anything, you guys, as a country, we still have a lot of progress to make. A lot of progress left to make in terms of, treating people equitably. So in any case, though, it's still altering my behavior. It's altering your behavior. And so I think it fits that description there. All right. The second term there in orange we've got is sovereignty. What we mean by sovereignty is simply the government's ability to govern without external interference. Okay, the government's ability to govern, I know that sounds awfully repetitive, without external interference. And, in order for a government to be effective, I don't care what country we're talking about or what time period we're talking about, it can't just be a government, but it needs to be a sovereign government. And we're going to be using that term quite a bit the next couple of days. For example, when we talk about popular sovereignty and John Locke. In fact, I think he shows up in the next slide. Alrighty, so we got government, we got sovereignty, and then finally we have politics, which is the other half of our course. You could think of politics, you guys, as the art or science of winning and maintaining power. The art, I know I said or science, but I'm going to go with and. All right, the art and science of winning and maintaining government power. Like I mentioned 2 days ago for you guys, you could think of government as the rules, and then politics is how you play the game. Okay, you could play the game very aggressively. You could play it very passively. When Donald Trump was president, one of the tools that he used, one of the ways that he did politics, was by was through social media, all right, and in particular Twitter. Regardless of what you think of Donald Trump or what you thought of Donald Trump back in the day, all right, that really doesn't matter. But the guy was very effective at wielding that political power. All right, using that particular tool, social media, as a way of not only gaining power initially when he was first running for the presidency, but then hanging on to it, or hanging on to it at least for 4 years, So, and we're going to go into dozens of different ways that people, maintain their political power once they've gained it. All right. So, again, government are the rules. Politics is how you play that game. Alrighty. We'll go from there. Okay. So make sure that you guys keep up on your notes. This is typically what my notes will look like from now until the end of the semester. Like I answered in class a couple of days ago, I don't post lecture notes online. I want to be sure that you guys stick with me, all right, and that you guys don't just check out on me, in class and then wind up just getting your notes from an online source. All right. In any case, I shall see you guys as soon as humanly possible. All right. As soon as they lock me out of COVID jail here, I will get back to you guys. All right. In the meantime, have a good day, you guys. Remember, you guys have chapter questions due on Friday. Hard copy, handwritten, turned into class, either to myself or to the sub, whoever is there. All righty. You guys have an awesome day. Bye-bye. Right over here, all of the isms. I'm going to take you guys through them.